All right, it's a long weekend. Hopefully you didn't start too soon.
Oh, screw it. Happy Memorial Day weekend, kids.
They've got an extra day to drink.
Yeah, start now. Suck it up, Buttercup.
We're supposed to be their Saturday morning hangover cure.
Yeah, we're encouraging imbibing in the hair of the dog.
Now you're messing with a son of a bitch.
There you go.
How you like that?
Little Nazareth.
That's right. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
Got it right this time.
That's right. The official kickoff of summer, baby.
It is time for usually your Friday night hangover cure, but since Dave wants to turn you all into alcoholics, I guess we're just drinking straight through Memorial Day weekend.
What else are you going to do? Barbecue?
Mow the lawn, barbecue, and barbecue some more.
And drink. And watch whatever we tell you to.
And listen to whatever we tell you to.
Exactly.
Because that's what we do here on the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. And of course, we have a set schedule here. Segment 1 is always about rock and roll. Concerts are still about 3 weeks away.
There's gonna be coming up.
Yep.
We're gearing up for it.
We will be talking about our next concert, the person who's going to be performing at our next concert in our song reviews, but
albums take priority.
Yep.
Unless there's a concert review.
Right. So what we've got this week for you, we mentioned it last week. Dave and I are splitting off this week. Last time this is going to happen for a while. We've already worked out the schedule. We're good to go until July after today. But because he hates the Dave Matthews Band.
And you're not a fan of Ghost.
We split things up this week. So we have 2 reviews for you. Full album review for me.
EP for me.
I still somehow think Dave got the better end of the deal on this. I'm the Dave Matthews Band fan. I get why Dave doesn't like them. They're an acquired funky taste. You gotta enjoy a little bit of mellowing out, little jazzy jam band feel. But the new album, Walk Around the Moon, leaves a lot to be desired. Now, I looked at some of the early reviews on Amazon because, yes, I am that type of person who looks for validation when I go, this movie really sucks. Does everybody else think that? This album really sucks. Does everybody else think that?
You just want to know,
am I crazy?
Off my rocker?
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
The early reviews I saw on Amazon agreed with me that this is a very, very tepid, very bad Dave Matthews Band album. Now, I will say this. Listening to it a couple more times since I had my initial reaction, which I told you at our Monday night quarterly meeting.
Yep.
It's gotten a little better, little tiny bit better. Not much, but a little tiny bit better. Still not recommendable.
The songs you kind of liked, you kind of like more.
Right. Yeah, the songs, that still suck. Right. So, 12 songs on Walk Around the Moon from the Dave Matthews Band. Now, it starts off actually, I don't want to say strong, because the songs are pretty mellow, but at least they're good mellow. So you get the title track, Walk Around the Moon, Madman's Eyes, and I like the way he wrote this. Song 3 is Looking for a Vein. Now, what's the first thing you think of?
You're going to shoot up.
Exactly. Very clever metaphor in his lyric writing. He actually sings about digging for gold. But he writes it in a way. He writes it in a way. I am in this deep, dark hole, and I'm just looking for a vein to get me out. You know, it's very well written. Musically, it's dull, but lyrically, metaphorically, very well written. So one of the highlights in that respect. So the first 3 songs I liked to a certain extent. Not classics, but good. And then just crap, crap, crap. The next 3 songs are just not even worth mentioning.
Wow.
Because they're so bad. And then finally, very similar parallel to what we talked about last week with Smashing Pumpkins. It takes until the 7th song before you finally get some guitar, some upbeat stuff.
Oh, God.
So after everything, the 7th song starts off very upbeat, like a Chicago type song with the horns.
Okay.
And then it sounds like it was an idea because the second half of the song falls apart into just jam band chaos.
Then
good. You got track 8 sucks. The reviews I read agree with me. The only really good, upbeat, rocking song, track 9, the only thing. At 10 and 11, Break Free and Monsters are okay. Track 12, Singing from the Windows is garbage. So, that's what you get. You get a weak, the most possible, weakest 2 Frenzy review from me possible.
All right. There you go.
Sorry, DMB fans, not impressed with this one.
All right. Ghost has their EP Phantomime. 5 cover songs. This is not the first time they've done a cover bit. Tobias, get off your lazy ass and write some new stuff.
But we talk about this with all these bands.
Yeah, they take their little sojourn off and just throw something out. Starts off with See No Evil, originally done by Television.
Oh my God. 70s. A band that everybody the critics seem to love that I don't even remember.
Yeah, I had no clue. It's okay. It's decent. Then Jesus, He Knows Me, the cover of the Genesis song, which is currently on the radio. They do a really good version of this one. This is the best one on this EP. I mean, it just rocks out. They hit it. It's great. Then you get Hanging Around from the Stranglers.
Not the Counting Crows?
No.
Okay, the Stranglers.
The Stranglers.
Oh, wow.
Whatever. Very weak. Phantom of the Opera, a very generic cover of Iron Maiden.
Oh.
No, they didn't do it any justice at all. And then they end up with We Don't Need Another Hero, covering Tina Turner.
Who we'll talk about
later. And again, it should have been left alone.
That song, because of the lyrics, that song is so tied into the movie that I don't think it should be redone because she talks about Thunderdome in the lyrics.
Yeah. And
that's her song and her song alone.
Yeah, it should never have been done. Jesus, He Knows Me is the solid track on here. Everything else is Why? 1.5.
Wow. So you were even more down on this than I am on Dave Matthews Band?
It's covers. And only one was done well. I can't.
I have a foreshadowing for you that tying into your little theme here with Ghost, one of our weekend edition dumbasses will be involving a redo/remake, and it will hurt me because this is one of the bands that we love.
Oof.
One of the bands that we love. But we have 4 songs
we
to review
pull
this
no
week.
punches.
No. If you suck, you suck. If you disappoint, we will call you out.
Yeah. And because it's a 5-song EP, I can't.
There's
nothing.
I almost wish the Dave Matthews Band album had been a 5-song EP. If they had tightened it up, picked the 5 best, would have been a really solid EP. As a full-length album, not so good.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, on to our songs. Do you want to go what I think is the weakest to the strongest?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, we will start with Mr. Mellencamp and Eyes of Portland. Another of his folk rock stories, political commentary on the homeless situation in Portland.
Yes. And I agree with you that it is, of the 4 songs, by far the weakest. It is an overbearing,
it's just
political statement.
It's so.
Whereas Hey God, the first single from the upcoming album, Orpheus Descending. Hey God was at least a little catchy in its rant about gun control.
Yeah,
but here's the thing:
this was just the so blah, generic,
boring,
full country beat that it's just.
And this has been the problem with John Mellencamp for 2 decades. If you remember, and you should, Rain on the Scarecrow, you can put together a song talking about a political issue and make it a rocking, awesome, well done, well constructed song.
Exactly.
Rain on the Scarecrow, of course, about the plight of the American farmer.
Yep.
But now he's just settled down into this whole I'm the next Woody Guthrie phase of his life, where he doesn't rock out anymore. He can't make these songs. He doesn't have the energy to make them elevate above, like you said, a simple, basic folk rock structure.
Yeah.
That's boring for the most part.
It's so lame. I was falling asleep listening to this thing.
I didn't like it either. I gave it 1.5.
Yep, exactly.
1.5 frenzies.
1.5.
So let's move up. Let's move up the totem pole.
Let's move up the totem pole. Queens of the Stone Age, Emotion Sickness.
Oh,
comes
here's
in
where
next.
our dispute
so here
comes
we
in.
go.
Here's where our dispute comes in. I can tell right now. Now, I'm a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan. I have been in love with them ever since Lullabies to Paralyze. It took me a couple listens here. Now, this is their first new music in 7 years. The new album, In Times New Roman, coming out soon.
Yep.
It takes a couple listens for the hook to insinuate itself.
It's got that 70s punk vibe,
which is
going
what they
to
are.
it.
That's
which is what they are. It did it at a couple of listens. It grew on me more, but still, for me, this is third of the 4.
What do you give it in terms of a rating?
A strong 2.5.
Oh, that's terrible. That's awful, Dave. This is a 3.5-star song.
I will not go 3.5.
Again, I am a Queens of the Stone Age fan. This is what I've been waiting for.
All right, there you go.
I love this song. Baby, don't care for me. Just, it will get in to your frontal lobe. It will penetrate your frontal lobe.
It's growing, but I'm not there yet.
I think Josh, now I always mispronounce his name. His name, I guess, is Josh Homme, where I always said it was Josh Homme, but I guess it's Homme.
Homme, don't play that.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say that because it sounded like borderline racist or
Homme the Clown, for crying out loud.
But I think the song is great. Cannot wait for the new album.
It's good. I enjoyed it. Just not as much as you did.
Okay, what's next?
Moving
up the totem pole.
Moving up, I will go with the Foo Fighters, Under You.
Okay. I think this is better than the first single, Rescued.
It is better.
But I still don't know if it still feels a tad bit derivative. It still feels like there's still something back there in the background where they're still rehashing old hooks it's still not what I wanted, but it's better than Rescue.
Doesn't have the driving drums.
Speaking of which, nice segue, by the way.
You're welcome.
We should point out that the Foo Fighters have announced who their new drummer is. That would be one Josh Freese, longtime session drummer. And when I say long time, I mean a long time. This dude's been doing it for over 30 years with a variety of bands, including Guns N' Roses. So
he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
He can play anything.
It will be interesting to see, number one, the live dynamic. But number two, now, we've always said, Dave Grohl is a restless soul. He cannot stay still.
No.
That's why I knew this was going to happen sooner rather than later. He wasn't going to take 5 years off because of Taylor Hawkins' death.
He's got to be doing something.
I admire him. I've loved him for this. Is that he is one of the few guys out there, like you were talking about Ghost. Ghost puts out an EP of cover songs. Put out some new music. Like Dave Grohl, consistently churning out new Queens of the Stone Age. 7 goddamn years? Come on!
Seriously, took you how long?
Dave Grohl goes through the death of his best friend and drummer. A year and a half later, new album.
We've got something going on.
So let us all take a lesson from Dave Grohl. Even though the first 2 songs might not be fantastic, they're solid. He's finding his footing again, reconfiguring the band, lost his friend.
We're going right along.
I will give Under You a solid 3 frenzies.
That's where I'm at with it as well.
All right. So it looks like we're going to be pretty much copacetic except for the one big discrepancy.
Yep. And so I have as my favorite The Hives, Bogus Operandi.
Dude, you knew the minute I saw this song pop up. I was all in.
This one is, it's
10 years. 10 years since we've gotten new music from the Hives.
And
10 years.
They have not missed a beat. They still are that high energy, bring it
punk band, all with the same outfits. I mean, I've seen them live in concert. They are the best. And I am sorry.
Phenomenal.
If you people have never listened to the Hives,
you're missing out. You are missing out. This is my 3.5.
Oh, yeah. Definitely 3.5 for me as well. Bogus Operandi, like Dave said, they have not missed a beat in a decade.
Yeah, they're just
it is the same
brilliant
rock, punk, metal mix with them all dressed the same like there's some kind of bizarre Las Vegas stage show gone wrong. And the video is unbelievable.
The homage to the Evil Dead. Check out the video for Bogus Operandi.
This band has no boundaries. Now, they don't sit out there and curse and swear.
And they don't need
sexual innuendos, but they will do what they want to do. And if
they
it's
do
bloody videos with people getting their throats slashed, they're fine with that.
By the floating shovel.
Yeah. And spoon.
The
Hives, again.
Brilliant.
If you have never listened to the Hives, check out Veni Vidi Vicious, their big hit album when they had their one big hit video. Hate to say I told you so.
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Hives. I mean,
they are great.
You got it, and they're fun.
They are a fun party band.
Yes. And the energy level is always cranked up to 11 with them.
Exactly.
Always.
And so Bogus Operandi does not disappoint in that regard.
So Dave and I both give Bogus Operandi 3.5. That is the consensus top pick among the songs this week. Although I will say Queens of the Stone Age, Emotion Sickness is a close second.
There you go.
All right, kids. Next week, Matchbox 20, the brand new album Where the Light Goes, is our featured album review. And then after that, it's going to go crazy. We're going to have a double album review the week after that.
And then an album review each of the next several weeks.
Taking us into July. And we're not talking cheap, under the radar stuff.
No.
We got Extreme. We've got Rival Sons. We got the Foo Fighters. We got Mellencamp. I mean, it's ridiculous. Queens of the Stone Age. It's ridiculous.
All going to be there, kids. And we're going to subject ourselves once again to a song from Greta Van Fleet.
Yes, we do have one song for next week.
We're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They're like that girl you spent the one night with. Incredible sex. It was awesome.
That first time,
and then
was
you got back
brilliant.
Together again, and it didn't really click, and things weren't working. But you keep trying, and
hoping for that magic to re-spark.
And the next thing you know, she's asking you for $200, and then the next thing you know, she wants the keys to your car, and you're like, "Well, I keep remembering that one night, and so I'll give you the keys. I'll give you my checkbook." And at some point,
you're going to just cut your losses.
But we haven't got there yet.
It's close. It's close.
With the jumpsuit homage.
What is it the Offspring says? That we're a sucker with no self-esteem.
Yeah. Yes. We're just a sucker with no self-esteem. And so that's how we feel about Greta Van Fleet, but we'll stick with it for a little while longer. We'll just try. We're
trying because
it's barely been over a year since we saw them in concert. And we had such high hopes. And
we're let down because their first album was rocking and gave us hope for a new generation.
And what happened?
And then the producers destroyed them.
Yeah, their advisors or whoever got in their heads, got in their ears, told them, put on spangled jumpsuits.
No.
Because that works with the heavy metal crowd.
Not.
But again, we got the Rival Sons.
With Rival Sons.
Again, coming up soon. Finally, that album's coming out. I still think they would have been better off releasing it originally, like they wanted to a couple months before. Because now they're in this log jam we're talking about.
With everybody else.
Yeah. So we will have Matchbox 20, Where the Light Goes, and Greta Van Fleet, Sacred the Thread. What a song title. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Sounds like the theme song for Martha Stewart's new show. Jesus Christ.
I know.
What are we doing to ourselves?
I know. We're masochistic in this way.
This is that bad girlfriend thing, I'm telling you. This is just that bad girlfriend thing. But
at some point we will cut the cord.
Yes.
As Shinedown says.
Yes. All right, segment 2 coming up next. Movies. I have a major release review. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and your Uncle Dave.
I've got a story time that I will not reveal before it's time.
So hang out with us for just a bit longer, won't you, on this extended Memorial Day weekend party fest? The weekend edition. We'll be right back. Hello, I'm James Cameron, prestigious film director. And since it takes me over a decade to make a movie, I've got plenty of time between takes to listen to my favorite podcast, Sports Frenzy 2.0, on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, Amazon, and Audible. Hey, wait, I'm having an epiphany. I have a new idea. Summer of 2035. Blue robots from the future on a doomed ocean liner. Oh, brilliant. Where's Arnold? Get me Schwarzenegger. What about DiCaprio? Oh, what about Edward Furlong? We know he's not doing anything.
Again, happy Memorial Day weekend, kids, from Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
And I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And here we are recording May 24th, 2023, dropping Saturday the 27th, the official kickoff of summer on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, CastBox, and Stitcher! Movie time. All right, maestro. You have the big theatrical, relevantly
the new Disney Plus release. Now, you, of course, saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is technically the newest of the Disney movies. But I watched the one that came before, which just hit Disney Plus, as I mentioned. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, supposedly the first chapter in setting up the next long storyline, this time involving Kang the Conqueror. Now, here's the problem. Everything outside of Kang the Conqueror in this movie sucks balls! I mean, sucks dog. Well, I guess because it's little tiny people, little tiny ant balls. Sucks balls! This is by far the worst of the Marvel movies.
Wow.
Jesus God! It is worse than Thor Love and Thunder. It is worse than Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Ouch.
The acting is atrocious. I mean atrocious. Paul Rudd, pathetic. Michelle Pfeiffer, pathetic. At least Michael Douglas kind of just does Michael Douglas, gets away with it to a certain extent. I will say this. We've had him as a dumbass because it looks like he's done some very heinous, terrible things. But at least Jonathan Majors is cool as Kang.
There you go.
I can separate. I've done it with Kevin Spacey.
Right.
I can do it here. Jonathan Majors, I like. He delivers his lines. I'm sure some people would be irritated by it in a very clipped way.
But that's what he's portraying the character as.
He's portraying an egomaniacal guy who thinks he can run the multiverse. I have killed Avengers before. You know, what makes you think I can't kill you, guy who talks to ants, you know? But he delivers his lines. He takes those pauses
to make it more condescending.
Right. Dave, don't you realize that Sports Frenzy is the most popular podcast ever? See, like that.
Okay. Yeah, the egomaniacal evil stuff.
It works here. Yeah. Because he's trying to say, you have to hang on my every word because of who I am. Because I am your God.
I'm better than you.
Right.
And you know it.
He does a great job of that. So I will give him props for that. He saves this from being an absolute, complete, and total train wreck. But otherwise, like I said, Michelle Pfeiffer, awful. Terrible actress. I'm sorry. I don't know what anybody ever saw in her. I was never a big fan of her as Catwoman.
No, she wasn't good in that.
Paul Rudd, awful. Again, the writing. Somebody online said, who wrote this? Fifth graders? And I was like, that's an insult to fifth graders.
Oof. So was it the acting, or was it just
all of it?
The script that couldn't
bad.
be
the script,
or just that they couldn't do anything with the script?
Catherine Newton is terrible. I know she was in Supernatural, a show we loved, but I've seen her in Freaky. She's been in one of the Paranormal Activity movies. She is a terrible actress. Terrible. But, you know, she's young and she's perky and she's blonde. So we got to put her in as the young, perky blonde.
Just stop.
I mean, I don't want you to experience this movie, kids, but you have to experience it to understand the depths of crappiness that this movie sinks to. It's like the Star Wars cantina scene from A New Hope for 2 hours with all the goofy, stupid. There's a broccoli head character. I am not lying. There is a character with a broccoli head and eyes.
What the hell are they doing?
There is a character like a gummy bear. It's so stupid. Disney once again gets their mitts, gets their claws in, and destroys any semblance of fun or intelligence.
Thank God for James Gunn sticking to his vision to close out Guardians of the Galaxy.
And again, no spoilers, but you told me. Whereas this, again, as I said, is a setup for Kang, which is supposedly going to be the next 3 years. You said Guardians does not tie into this at all.
Nothing to do with it. Guardians was going to be a trilogy.
Right.
The first 2 leading up to Endgame. And then the third one was closing it out. And it does it brilliantly.
So no Kang, no mention of Kang, no nothing.
Nothing at all. The Guardians,
which is probably, again, the best thing for it.
So nothing mentioned there. We'll see. You'll have to see it. Make your own interpretations on what's going to happen at some point.
Dave and I have talked about the fact that the next Marvel movie, which has been delayed until the winter, is that awful Freaky Friday looking the Marvels crap.
That looks abysmal.
Disney is, I'm telling you, I knew this was coming. Disney is going to destroy Marvel. They are going to. Doesn't surprise me, your positive review of Guardians of the Galaxy, because again, standalone, James Gunn did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, his 3-film vision for the Guardians, that was it. It was always going to be 3. And he ended it the way he wanted.
And like so many of the bad Marvel movies, the best part of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, is one of the post-credit scenes. Because they bring in another character to kind of
set up,
warn everybody that Kang is a force to be reckoned with.
All right, there we go.
Now they bring in another character who I liked in the movie itself, MODOK. But they ruin that. They end up ruining that.
How do you ruin MODOK?
Because they bring in stupid, juvenile, terrible. Again, the script is awful. The script is awful. They bring in terrible, juvenile, unfunny humor. And I'm all for really good, funny, juvenile humor.
When it's appropriate. You just can't have it to have it.
Let's put it this way. Just saying the word dick isn't funny. You have to use it in a context, oh, don't be a dick. Oh, you're being a dick.
That's not funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. We use the word dick. You know what? Stay on strike.
You know what?
All you writers, just stay on fucking strike. Because if this is the kind of garbage you think we should be paying for, fuck you. Stay on strike. Eat ramen noodle soup till the day you die, because this is insulting. You don't deserve any of my fucking ticket money with this kind of crap. If this is what you're writing and you're going on strike to tell everybody you deserve more money, fuck you. I should get money back, my time back, 2 hours of my life back for this garbage you assholes wrote. And you're on strike because you don't think you're compensated enough? Fuck you. I want money for my 2 hours that I lost. I could have been watching something better, but no, I gotta watch the Marvel movies. Fuck you, and fuck Disney for what you've done to the Marvel movies. I'm tired of it.
Okay, so what we can take away is you didn't like it.
One Frenzy.
There you go.
One Frenzy.
All right. I'm going in a more positive direction where the writing was really damn good and creative and funny. So last night, here's we taped, this would have been the 23rd. Sitting there on the couch, youngest boy Nick comes in, starts making himself a snack. I'm like, all right, what are we going to watch? He goes, should we do the old Standby? Which for him and I to watch a Standby movie, it's the old James Garner Western, support your local sheriff. I'm like, nah, let's see if we can find something different. All right. So we go, fires up Netflix, and movies right there that I actually watched about a week and a half ago, finally. And I was like, what about that one? I said, I think you'll really like. He goes, that's one that I've been thinking about watching. I'm like, want to? Sure, why not? So we queue up this action comedy buddy investigation movie set in the 70s, starring Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
Yes! You watch the Nice Guys! You watch the Nice Guys! Finally!
I've watched it last night for the second time in a week and a half.
Is it not awesome? Is it not awesome? Is it not awesome?
It is brilliant.
Yes! I have been trying to get the Conquistador to watch this movie for years. I've been telling him how fantastic this movie is. Finally! Yes! I'm so happy.
Twice in a week and a half.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And watching it with Nick, I'm laughing hysterically again at the parts that he's watching. Oh, that's a lot of blood. Oh. Dad,
the daughter.
We're at the party and there's a lot of whores and stuff. Don't say and stuff. Just say, Dad, there's a lot of whores.
Oh, God. People, if you have never seen The Nice Guys, it is one of the greatest movies of the last 20 years.
And as much as you railed on the writers for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the writers on this one from a few years ago were brilliant. The way they put it together. The acting is phenomenal across the board.
It's heartfelt. It's raunchy. It's funny. It's action-packed.
It's got everything you could want. It is fantastic. And why we have not gotten a sequel is beyond me.
Oh my God, I am so
happy. The interaction between Crowe and Gosling's characters, they have a great chemistry together. And with the daughter.
Yes, it's the best chemistry since Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
With Downey and Kilmer.
Yeah. I mean, this is just...
Oh, this makes me so happy.
They play off each other so well.
Oh my God,
we have to see The Nice Guys. This is a solid 3.5, borderline 4.
Yeah, I give it 4. I've watched it like 5 times.
This is right there at the top of the game.
Yes, Misty Mountains. That's all I have to say. Misty Mountains.
The stupid kid on the bike outside the burned out house. Yeah, I wanted to show him my dick. I got a big dick.
This was the movie where I realized, I know he's a pretty boy. Ryan Gosling's awesome. Right?
He was freaking brilliant.
This movie,
he's a pretty boy, but the guy can act. He is a great actor.
Yes. He's got a very understated way about him.
He plays the every guy.
He's just
good.
I think this movie. I can't. I'm speechless. Finally, I again have been recommending this movie for years today.
It's been on my radar,
and I'm glad Nick liked it.
Connor was starting watching it tonight as I was leaving to come film tonight. So
good. Such good.
So Nick
I might have to watch it again tonight.
Nick and I were doing some quotes during dinner and before and after, and I'm I'm like, you got to watch the movie.
Yeah. Did you fall down the hill?
I found the body.
Yeah.
You fell down the hill, didn't you?
Oh, such a great movie.
And again, I was in the pool. What were you doing in the pool? I had to interview the mermaids. Somebody has to work the case.
Oh my God. And there's really heartfelt moments that are great. I mean, it just does have everything.
It does.
You know.
You hurt people for money? How much would you charge to beat up my friend Janet?
And again, the daughter is phenomenal too.
Oh, she is
Could be
great.
Next to Ghostbusters, Afterlife. Probably the best young actress I've seen in 20 years. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nothing can beat Afterlife. She was
brilliant.
Yeah.
But this is right
Egon's
there.
daughter or granddaughter, just brilliant. Yeah.
This was right there, though.
Yeah.
You have to see The Nice Guys.
Yep. You have to. Oh, dude, you just made my night. This makes me happy.
See, I had to pause it to let Nick know the Walton's John Boy reference and kind of explain that after
Matt Bomer.
With Matt Bomer's character. And I had him pause it after Russell Crowe's character's getting ready to go out when they say, and now back to the Waltons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is key. The guy who plays John Boy, that name is going to be important.
Yep.
And described him. And so later on, he's like, okay.
Yep. Oh, man, that's awesome. That right there. It's Memorial Day weekend. You've got an extra day.
Watch The Nice Guys.
Watch The Nice Guys.
So good. So good.
Oh. But your Uncle Dave is not done yet. He has a book review as well.
I know. Another one this week, right?
Yeah. Because he just read another book while we were on break after the last segment.
He's lying. Anyway, we're going back to the Clive Cussler world. We had the Kurt Austin Joe Zavala last week. This week, it's Clive Cussler's Wrath of Poseidon by Robin Bursell. This is the 2020 Sam and Remy Fargo adventure. Of course, they're the rich treasure hunting couple. Very much philanthropists in their life. She comes from a rich, wealthy East Coast family. He came up making something of himself, working for DARPA, creating different inventions and getting the patents, CIA covert training through the years to help him develop things for DARPA. Decent stuff. This one actually starts off somebody getting out of prison that they put in from when they first met. And so we get the full story of how they met and their romance developed and their love of treasure hunting and adventure. So very cool backstory finally after, at least 7 or 8 books. You always allude to how they met, but this is the full story. Coming full circle, looking for an old pirate treasure from the time of King Cyrus back in the Greece and Turkey. And so they're in Greece originally looking for it and coming full circle now as the guy's getting out of prison and he's looking for revenge and a decent tie-up for the story. Really well-paced, good character development that Robin does with this. It's a solid 3 for the Fargos.
There you go. Very good. Very nice. Now, we're still debating movie reviews for the next few weeks because there's not a lot out there.
You might get a lot of story times.
Yeah. Yeah, am I allowed to review The Nice Guys next week? I'm literally probably going to pop it in after we're done taping tonight. That's how much I love that freaking movie.
It's phenomenal. This is going to be one that we are going to queue up from time to time.
Yes. This is a definite repeat viewing.
Actually,
movie.
I know we are getting together with the neighbors
Sunday. Put it on the screen in the backyard.
Not for the littles.
Misty Mountains? Come on.
No. There will be, Nick, we've already picked the movie for Sunday night in the backyard. There will be a story time next week.
I already know what it is. I'm not going to say. I heard Jen talking about it. So at the Monday night Sports Frenzy meeting.
Yep. So you know what it will be. The kids will be pleasantly surprised. It is a true blast from the past.
Yep. I have one of 3 movies for next week I will be reviewing. Either I'm going to watch Air with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I am going to watch... after watching Quantumania, I need some time off. So I might not watch Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Why the hell would you subject yourself to the next Shazam?
I have to watch all the superhero movies.
You don't have to. You don't have to. Shazam was a bastardization of the show we grew up loving.
That's true.
Why would you subject yourself to the second crap fest?
Because of all the time in my life I've invested into comic books and the superhero stuff.
Why waste your time?
Well, that's why I'm saying my third option might be viable. HBO Max, now just Max. New Donna Summer biopic. And I grew up in the disco era, so this is very intriguing to me. I loved Donna Summer.
As your court-appointed life coach, go with the Donna Summer.
I probably will. I told you, I need some time. I'm not going to watch Shazam right away. A couple weeks down the road after the scar is healed.
As desperation sets in.
After watching The Nice Guys a couple times to make me feel better about life.
I have yet to see the first Shazam, and I will not watch the second one either.
And the second one's supposed to be worse.
There's principalities involved here.
Now, let's say that I will say this. Shazam, the first one, much better than Ant-Man.
Much
better than Ant-Man. That's how bad Ant-Man Quantumania was.
Wow. So now you know what to stay away from.
So
don't watch Ant-Man. Watch The Nice Guys.
Oh, yes. Watch The Nice Guys, for the love of God.
Coming from 2 nice guys.
Cannot recommend that movie anymore. So that's where we're going next week. Couple little news and tidbit notes before we wrap up segment 2. We talked about how much I hate the writers now because of Quantumania, and they dared to put that crap out there on the big screen and act like it's a piece of art, a piece of fine craftsmanship.
Balls.
Well, your strike update now, of course, you did not watch The Old Man, did you? With Jeff Bridges on FX.
I watched the first episode.
Okay, I watched the first season. Well, season 2 has now officially shut down because of the strike. The latest update we've got for you on that.
There you go.
Now, my one last little tidbit of news here in the movie world. Hopefully I'm surprising Dave on this one to see what his reaction will be. Hey, Dave.
Yes, Kevin.
Who's played Jacques Clouseau? Sorry, Jacques Clouseau of the Pink Panther in the movie so far?
Peter Sellers and Steve Martin.
Do you know who's going to be the third to play?
I have not heard Clouseau yet.
Eddie Murphy is now negotiating to play Jacques Clouseau in a reboot of the Pink Panther movies.
No.
And we love Eddie Murphy.
We love Eddie Murphy, but no.
Eddie Murphy as Jacques Clouseau. Now you're starting to think about it, aren't you? Now you're starting to think about it.
If he plays it like he did Bowfinger.
I know.
If he plays it like Bowfinger.
I'm a frequent reader at Blockbuster. That was the greatest, arguably one of the greatest comic performances of all time. The dual roles.
Eddie Murphy,
the paranoid movie
brilliant
star
in Bowfinger.
Oh my God.
If he can...
That's another movie you kids need to watch. If you have not watched Bowfinger, you have got to watch Bowfinger.
I will have to say, if he plays Clouseau like he can play in Bowfinger, then it has half a chance. I did not like Steve Martin as Clouseau.
I didn't even watch him.
I watched the first one.
It was bad. I was such a fan of Peter Sellers.
That is Peter Sellers' character.
Yeah, I was such a fan of Peter Sellers.
Steve Martin did not do it justice at all. It was No, Steve Martin should never have done it. It is Peter Sellers' character.
Can I make an admission to you and all the people in podcast land?
Sure.
I think Steve Martin's vastly overrated. What has he really been in that he has been so outstanding and so funny in that he is considered an all-time comedic genius? Seriously.
I enjoyed The Jerk, and I enjoyed Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah, but they're not all-time classics.
No. Borderline-ish for each.
Bill Murray, Will Ferrell, Eddie Murphy
funnier.
Have been in so many more.
Yeah, Steve Martin is vastly overrated.
And everybody talks about, this Hulu series, Only Murders in the Building. Looks dumb beyond belief. Every time I see a commercial with him and Martin Short, another vastly overrated comedian. It's like, I don't hate the guy. I kind of like him.
But he's not...
was funny. The first time I heard it.
Yeah.
The 10th time it wore on me. But
there's only so much wild and crazy guys you can do. Bowfinger was carried by Eddie Murphy.
Right. It's a well-written movie completely. Not just Eddie Murphy, but that's Eddie Murphy's movie.
Yeah. No, Steve Martin is vastly overrated.
Okay. I wasn't trying to lead you down that path.
No,
but
you're right. There is a couple of standout movies, but they're not the be-all, end-all.
Right. And this leads me back full circle here as we wrap up the movie segment. One last thing I didn't talk about in Ant-Man, Quantumania. There is the most ridiculous, unnecessary cameo by Bill Murray ever.
Why?
It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose. You could have got any actor to play this role. It's just Bill Murray cashing a paycheck for like 5 minutes of work. 5 minutes of work, if that.
For like 30 seconds of screen time?
It's nothing. It's nothing. But see, you got me thinking about that because if you look at their films, Bill Murray, much more significant, better film history than Steve Martin. Although I don't know if people look at it like that. Groundhog Day. Come on.
What about Bob?
Caddyshack. Jesus God. Right
Scrooged.
There. We've already got Steve Martin beat.
Scrooged.
There you go.
Ghostbusters.
There you go. God forbid we forget Ghostbusters. I mean, again, Steve Martin, overrated. Sorry. Nice guy. I'm sure overrated.
Yep. All right. Third segment coming up.
TV and streaming. Moments of silence going to take a while.
There's a lot of moments of silence.
Couple dumbasses. So hang out. One more segment, kids. We'll be right back. Are you tired of getting body slammed by the mainstream sports media? Are you sick of their lame trash talk? Check out Sports Frenzy 2.0 with a tag team of the Maestro and the Conquistador. Pile drive those jackasses into submission. Available on all major podcast hosts, including Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. Kev Dave slap a figure 4 on all the major sports networks who lie, kiss ass, and refuse to take names. New episodes drop every Thursday with new weekend edition episodes every Saturday. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Sports Frenzy said so. All right, kids, segment 3 here on the weekend edition. I am so spent emotionally after last segment.
That's what she said.
Finally, hearing the positive vibes, a positive reaction after all this time of trying to get the Conquistador to watch the Nice Guys, and getting this kind of feedback just makes me so happy.
And our little break, we've just been quoting it and laughing our asses off. So there you go.
One final time, go watch the Nice Guys. Now, where'd you watch it?
It is on Netflix.
There you go. There you go, kids. Everybody's got Netflix, right? Everybody.
Which ties into the segue for our streaming and TV.
Yeah, we don't have a lot this week.
There's not a whole lot.
Between the crappy movies I've been watching and the great movies you've been watching, all I've got is the latest Beavis and Butthead, episode 6 of season 2, featuring Sad Boys, and then, of course, the classic "Are You There, God? It's Me, Beavis." I can't spoil any more than that, because to give you the twist that happened, I will say Sad Boys involves Beavis and Butthead observing at high school one of those pretty sad guys sitting there sulking by his locker, world weary. Oh, the world is so terrible, full of such awful people. And the pretty girls coming up, oh, rubbing the shoulders, and are you okay?
What can I do to help you?
Of course, dude, we need to be sad. And let's just say things go off the rails from there. And of course, the same thing with,
Are You There, God?
Yes. Beavis starts off talking into the mirror. But again, it takes a twisted, over-the-top Beavis and Butthead turn as to why he is talking to God and the changes in his body. So, this, again, not quite as sharp as season 1, but still much, much better than most of the crap out there.
Yep. Wrapping up some stuff, finished off
It'll be there.
Yeah,
it'll be there for you. It'll be there for you.
We've finished up The Curse of Oak Island. Of course, the weather impeded them making that final push to the one tunnel they think has the gold. And of course, it's all because of the government regulations and the need for permits that hindered them on a couple of things they were trying to do that pushed them back. Wrapped up the final season on CBS of Ghosts, Young Sheldon.
Well, it's not the final season for Ghosts.
Well, no, the season,
right?
The season finales.
There you go.
Of Ghost and Young Sheldon, and then also NCIS.
Still watching network TV. Good for you.
Just those. Just those.
Of course, we discussed earlier, alluded to the fact that Max is here. No longer HBO Max. Now it's Max. So for a time, for a brief period of time, is what I'm predicting, you will be able to get Discovery and HBO together for the same low price that you were paying for HBO Max for about 3 months until they jack it way up. I guarantee the prices are going to go up.
It's probably going to go up a bit. do we even want to consider trying the Weeknd's series that's going to be on Max, The Idol?
I don't.
Which
I
sounds like it's absolute trash.
No, I'm just waiting for Doom Patrol. After Doom Patrol is done, I don't even know if I'm going to keep it, to be honest with you. There's not that much good stuff right now on HBO Max, in my opinion. Sorry. Everyone go watch Succession. Oh, I got so much stuff that I could be, might be watching. We've talked about Citadel. We've talked about The Night Agent.
I've been recommended to watch The Jury.
On Freevee and Amazon Prime.
Which is a Prime thing.
Yeah. So
may go back and rewatch Agent Elvis for all I know.
Which we recommended to our panel member, Aaron. He seems he's all in on that, so that's good. So, see, this is what we do. We recommend these things among our group to each other and look at the joy and the happiness that it brings. It's all raunchy, good fun.
Yep. This raunchy comedy is all I ever need, along with maybe that raunchy comedy.
Then, of course, next week, I will have my recap of the WWE Night of Champions from Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
Which leads us into
our moments of silence.
Because one of the biggest, most famous wrestlers of all time passed away here this past week. That would be one superstar, Billy Graham. Basically, this is the guy who Hulk Hogan modeled himself after.
Yeah, with the beard and...
Now, the superstar, you could tell, was using probably a little bit more of the performance-enhancing substances
than anybody else.
Right. But, superstar Billy Graham was around when I was growing up and watching the WWE. Back then, the WWF, of course.
Yep.
Great wrestler. Awesome wrestler. Never one of my favorites, but never somebody I didn't like,
Yeah, just solid performance.
Yep.
Every time he hit the mat.
Yep. So thoughts and prayers go out to the wrestling community for the loss of the late, great superstar, Billy Graham.
Yep. Kind of go down a little bit. Songwriter Pete Brown passed away. Noted for writing White Room and Sunshine of Your Love.
Yep. Cream.
Yep. Thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
Now, a lot of people out there, comic book geeks like me, of course, if I subject myself to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, I've got to be a diehard geek. And then I'm talking about watching Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I am a diehard, stupid, masochistic comic book geek. But I love John Bernthal as the Punisher from the Netflix series. Of course, now supposedly coming back to make an appearance in the upcoming Daredevil Born Again series on Disney+. But
if the writers ever get off their damn strike.
I'll tell you who I loved as the Punisher as well. It was not Thomas Jane. It was not Dolph Lundgren.
Nope.
It was Ray Stevenson.
From Warzone.
Punisher Warzone is a badass movie. It is pretty much the closest you get to the true spirit of what the Punisher is supposed to be. No holds barred. The outfit, except for the neck collar, is perfect. Ray Stevenson played the Punisher perfectly. 58 years old, which scares me to death because I will be 58 this year. And if that man, he was not in the worst shape in the world, dies at 58, that scares me. But of course, now he was in one of the Thor movies. He's been in a lot of other stuff. But to me, he is Frank Castle. Yep. He is the Punisher.
Yep. Thoughts and prayers to his family and friends. Andy Rourke, bassist for the Smiths, one of those off bands that critics seemed to love and had that little cult following.
And we never got
into them, but still kind of one of those influential bands through the years. Has passed away, so thoughts and prayers to his family and friends. The big tragic loss in music today as we tape on the 24th of May, the loss of rock icon Tina Turner.
Queen of rock and roll, Tina Turner. This hits hard. This is sad.
This is, yeah. She has done so much, suffered through so much, and always came out on top.
Yep. The comeback in the 80s. Now, we know that she wasn't the only one who reinvented herself in the 80s, but the way she did it, the way she handled it, then, of course, segueing into movies. We talked about Thunderdome. We talked about...
Ghost covering We Don't Need Another Hero.
Right.
In our first segment this week.
But then, of course, just the whole thing, going all the way back to the great classics that she sang with, again, you mentioned The Hard Times, Abusive Husband, Ike Turner, River Deep, Mountain Wide,
Proud
Bush
Mary.
City Limits. Yeah. I mean, just a true rock and roll icon from the beginning in the 60s all the way through the 80s, through the 90s, up to the end.
Yeah. So she will truly be missed.
Yes. If not the greatest, one of the top 2 or 3 greatest female voices in rock history.
Absolutely. So thoughts and prayers to her family and friends.
Yep. We mentioned this was going to be a rough one for moments of silence because, personally, professionally, I'm a wrestling geek. I'm a Punisher geek. I'm a rock and roll geek. So this hurts on all 3 levels for me.
Yeah. I think we need to do what we did in the sports segment, where we just need to take a quick little break before we pivot.
To show respect.
To show respect for the legends.
Yep. So we're going to give you a quick promo break and we'll be right back. And then we will revert back to our juvenile selves and our humor that might involve some questionable terms and words. So hang out for just a sec. We will be right back to wrap up the weekend edition. When the mindless zombies at the major sports networks won't leave you alone. When the forces of evil on local sports radio have you cornered. Load up the boomstick known as Sports Frenzy 2.0. Available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, and Castbox. Kev Dave will drive the dull and boring voices in your head away and offer you the sports salvation you need. New episodes drop every Thursday. And don't forget the weekend edition every Saturday, where the maestro and the conquistador might just review your favorite horror flick. Sports Frenzy 2.0. It's groovy. All right, kids, welcome back. Time to hand out, you want to call them accolades? Fine. We prefer to call them the dumbasses of the week.
Yep, as we pivot from the somber moments we just had to the abject stupidity of the human race.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, wasn't there for the sports edition, not here for, couldn't come up with a positive, couldn't come up with a Clint Eastwood badass this week. That's sad. All we can find is the negative.
Yeah, it was not a very positive week.
Let's start slow. Let's start off with a small dumbass. Oscar
Ant-Man?
Mayer. After all this time, decades and decades of having a Wienermobile, Oscar Mayer changes the name.
Oh, come on!
It will now be known as the Oscar Mayer Frankmobile. We have lost the Wienermobile. I wonder if this
what
is
happened.
Not again.
I always wanted to be an Oscar Mayer wiener.
I know. Look at that. Something vital from our childhood yet again.
I blame that stupid effing politician for ruining my life.
This has got to be politically.
This is absolutely stupid.
Political correctness again, run amok.
No, it's the frickin' Wienermobile.
You hit the nail on the head. I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. There's nothing wrong with singing that.
God, you people are freaking stupid. This is dumb. Dumb beyond belief. It's time to write Oscar Mayer and call for the head of their marketing person.
I wish I were an Oscar Mayer Frank.
It doesn't have the cachet.
It doesn't work. Idiots. You idiots. Speaking of idiots, Walt Disney World. Talk about idiots. They are shutting down. Of course, Walt Disney World, for those of you who don't know, it's easy to get confused. That's the one in Florida. Walt Disney Land is in
California.
Walt Disney World, of course, we know they bought Marvel, they bought Star Wars, so they were setting up Star Wars attractions, and they set up a humdinger of one down in Orlando. Opened in March of 2022, the Galactic Star Cruiser Experience, which cost $4,800 for 2 guests. Well, guess what? Didn't come off as very popular or cost efficient.
Gee, you think?
Because now in September of 2023, barely a year and a half after it opened, they are shutting down the Galactic Star Cruiser Experience.
Because nobody wants to spend that kind of money. Idiots.
They'll never learn their lesson. And as long as idiots out there are going to pay this type of money to take, oh, my kids, I've got to give them a memory. You know what?
No.
That's a cop-out.
It costs...
Get an RV, take them camping.
Go out west. Go see the Grand Canyon. You can get away for a hell of a lot less than that stupid-ass experience.
$4,800, and that's without the kids. That would be for mom and dad.
Yeah. The rat is run by a bunch of greedy dumbasses, and anybody who shells out that kind of money needs to have their dumbass head examined.
Yeah. When I lived down there, which was like 15, 16 years ago, you could get by buying yearly passes as a resident, and it wasn't bad. But the people coming in, they want the tourist tax, they want all that money, they will gouge anybody coming in.
Jen and I took the boys, years ago for New Year's Eve. And the 3 days we spent down there wasn't even a quarter of that cost. And we got we did the breakfast with the characters.
Yeah.
And we weren't anywhere near that kind of money for the 4 of us.
Yeah. It's pathetic. It's really pathetic.
And that's driving down and back and staying there and the hotel on the way down and the way back.
Yep. And you wonder why all I want to do is go see concerts, because in the end, much more cost effective, and I'm going to have a much better time.
Exactly.
Now, this one hurts me. The third and final dumbass to wrap up the Sports Frenzy Weekend Edition here on Memorial Day weekend. Again, we hope you have a great, safe, fun, and happy Memorial Day weekend with your family, your friends, your prostitutes, your whores, whoever it might be that you choose to spend time with. God bless you. Just have fun. Who I am not going to say good things about. It hurts me deeply to say this, to put them in the Weekend Edition Dumbasses of the Week. Def Leppard.
Oof.
Now, Dave and I have talked about the fact that we're not going to review the new Drastic Symphonies album because we don't need these revamped versions. We tried one. We reviewed one.
We tried one and it was abysmal.
Oh, no. No. You did not hear abysmal. You did not hear abysmal. Now, I can't remember. Was it Hysteria? What was the song that we reviewed? I can't remember. It was about a month and a half ago.
Remember. It was not good.
Oh, trust me. Compared to what I'm about to put forth.
Wasn't it Animal?
Animal. It was Animal. Thank you. I think Hysteria was the second single. I think you're right. Animal was the first one. Because we said it doesn't sound like it's that much different outside of they layered some strings on it.
Yeah, which did not mesh.
Oh, well, Dave. They definitely put out a different version of one of the greatest rock songs of all time. Overplayed? Yes, but still, I think you will agree with me. It's one of the greatest songs. Pour Some Sugar on Me.
One of the great rock songs, yes.
I don't know if I would wish to strap my worst enemy in a chair
and put headphones
on this person and put this on a loop.
Oof.
You know, we reviewed Diamond Star Halos,
right,
the last album, and the two country-ish songs. Imagine Pour Some Sugar on Me as a slow country ballad.
No, it's not a slow song.
It's a duet with Joe Elliott and a female country singer.
Why?
And it is slow, and it is a travesty beyond all belief. It is literally one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. Literally one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life.
What the hell are they doing?
And again, I'm not recommending you listen to this.
I'm gonna have to just. It's the masochist in me.
If you like this, you and I got problems. This thing is disgusting. It is an affront to the memory of this great rock anthem from the 80s.
Ugh.
This is not like we talked about with Animal. Or
where they put the strings that didn't mesh with the song at all.
This is a completely different version altogether of the song.
Oof.
I will say stay away, people. Stay away from this. And I hate to put Def Leppard on the dumbasses list, but they deserve it.
Have to.
They deserve it for this.
If it's that bad, they deserve to be there.
It is. It is. If you disagree, post a comment on the Facebook page.
Let us know.
But that's going to do it to a point for the weekend edition. But a couple weeks ago, Dave and I started a new tradition on the weekend edition where we wanted to have a little fun saying goodbye to you kids.
Yep. We ran out of time last week.
So we decided to fix the situation from here on out.
Yep. Pre-recorded to take you out.
Our rendition with the great Van Halen in mind.
As our influence.
Of course, acknowledgement to Roy Rogers, the original source material. We bid you adieu for yet another week here on the weekend edition with our rendition of happy trails.
So we'll talk to you next weekend. Enjoy.
Peace out.
Yep. Bum-ba-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da, bum-ba-dee-da.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you until